Hi dear students, in our previous class we discussed about the modes of winding up. There are two types of modes that we discussed, that is compulsory winding up and voluntary winding up. So in the last class we just had an overview of the voluntary winding up, and today in this session let us see what exactly is the procedure or the steps involved and what is the role that tribunal will play in a voluntary kind of winding up. This is expected to be a very important question in the examination perspective. So I request you all to pay attention and don't miss reading this answer. So what is voluntary winding up? If the two-thirds in the value of creditors of the company are of the opinion that it is in the interest of all the parties to wind up, then the company has to be winded up voluntarily. So we know, like, if there are every company has certain creditors and the shareholders. If two-thirds of the creditors are of the opinion that yes, the company has to go for winding up, then company will be chosen to wind up voluntarily. And also, if the purpose of the company is already done, like what we discussed in our previous class, if for certain project the company opened and within 5 years, a couple of years, the existing project was completed, and when all the board members do not want to continue the business further, even in that situation, the voluntary winding up can be chosen. Along with that, the two-thirds of the creditors, if they prefer to wind up the company, then the winding up also can be possible. So for this, the tribunal comes into picture to meet all its liabilities and to settle all the company assets to the creditors, etc. So now what is winding up? This may be required due to the number of reasons, which includes closure of business, loss, bankruptcy, or death of promoters, etc. So apart from the one-third majority of creditors or apart from the project completion, the other reasons are the business loss, bankruptcy, or passing away of the promoters. Even in this situation, the voluntary winding up is preferred by the tribunal. And what is the procedure of the company voluntarily? Let us see. So as per the Companies Act 2013, the tribunal recommends for winding up under this following situations, which I mentioned in the Word document. So the first one is when the company is unable to pay its debts, the tribunal will recommend for winding up according to the Companies Act 2013, and also by any special resolution that the company can be wounded up by the tribunal. This special resolution, we can consider that when the project closure or when the one-third creditors are willing and coming forward to wind it up. So that is called as a special resolution. Or if the company members do not want to continue the business further, even though it is in a good position in the market, but however it depends upon the interest of the board of directors whether to continue the business or not. In that situation, a special resolution will be passed for the winding up and they will approach the tribunal. And apart from that, this we already discussed yesterday, but as a repetition for the essay answer, I have written the points here. So if it is affecting the friendly relations with the foreign states, which is affecting the integrity of the India, that is country, then the tribunal will forcefully go for the winding up. And if the company has not filed the financial statements or annual returns for the 5 consecutive years, even then the winding up happens. This point also we discussed yesterday. And if the affairs of the company have been conducted in a fraudulent manner, so if any fraud is conducted in terms of giving the financial statements by misleading the shareholders or the stakeholders of the company, then it is considered as an offense or unlawful according to the Companies Act. Even in this situation, the tribunal will go for voluntary winding up. So let us see the steps of voluntary winding up. The first one is convening a board meeting with 2 directors. So to go for the winding up, there must be a board with the 2 directors or more than the 2 directors. So they have to declare to the affairs of the company that they are done with the business for the purpose that they are formed, and now they have no more debts, but or it will be able to pay the debts in full form that precedes the assets sold in voluntary winding up of the company. So they decide a date, place, and time or agenda for the general meeting of the company after 5 weeks of this board meeting. This is the first case that we discussed in our first point of this topic. So when people completed their given task, or they achieved the purpose of forming a company, they will clear off all the debts, and it is not insolvency or a bankruptcy. It is like they are in a good position to repay off the debts and close all their financial accounts. For this, they will come up with the board directors along with two directors or majority of directors. They fix a date, place, and time to discuss about this winding up decisions. Then issuing the notices in writing or calling for the general meeting. And in the general meeting, they pass an ordinary resolution for winding up the company along with 3/4 of majority. And on the same day or the next day of passing a resolution of winding up, they conduct a meeting with the creditors also, because they are a very important part. So the shareholders of the company and the creditors are very, very important to attend the board meeting during the time of winding up according to the Companies Act. So within 10 days of passing the resolution of winding up, they have to file a notice with ROC, that is Register of Companies, and they also have to appoint a liquidator. So this liquidators normally do assist of evaluating the assets and liabilities of the company to settle all the debts with the taken from the creditors or the bank loans. And within 14 days of passing the resolution for winding up, they have to give a notice of resolution to the official gazette and also advertise in newspaper with circulation in the district where the registered office is present. So they have to inform to the public or to the customers or to their clients that they are closing their company. So this they have to do it within 14 days of passing the resolution of winding up in the board meeting, and within 30 days of the general meeting for winding up, they have to file a certified copies of ordinary or special resolution. So here I mentioned 14 points for your understanding, dear students. Please go through point by point, and I hope this will be very easy for you to understand once you go through the points. Please text me a message where you do not understand any of the point. Thank you very much.